Oh, nah. This can't be true. Please, no. Payday. You want payday. I know that. They're saying Canelo Alvarez could fight Dmitry Bivol at a catchweight. Oh, my. We're going to talk about that. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Throw a like on this video. It goes a long way when you guys smash the like button and notify others that the content is fire. Oh man, say it ain't so. Now, after we heard that the Canelo Alvarez I was born ready fight with Caleb Plant fell through, I knew it was going to be an interesting process to see what was next. As of me recording this video, there are 44 days until Canelo's supposed next fight. Canelo says for years, even though he came up short versus Mayweather to claim the Mexican dates, Floyd ended up retiring. And Canelo said, I'm of Mexican heritage. I want those dates, May and September. But 44 days, like Jay-Z album, 44 fours, we're very dangerously close to September 18th. He's kissing horses, but he hasn't announced his next fight. So we don't know who he's fighting, when he's fighting, if it's going to be September 18th. And he's posting all these shirtless pictures and stuff like that. And the fans want to know, you know, and the walls are closing in on the Canelo fans because a lot of what was stated is cap, is proven to be cap. And I'll wait and get to that. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video. Smash the like button so we could talk about it. Lance Pugmire has reported this. Let me find it because he's talking about the Olympics and some other things. But he reported something very interesting, very, very interesting. So I got to get past the Olympic coverage to get to it. I should have pulled it up, but it shouldn't be long. Boom. We got action. Update on Canelo. It says the Dmitry Bivol camp is waiting for confirmation from the 4-division champion on a catchweight bout. Oh my. A catchweight bout between 168 and 175 pounds. Quote, might have to move the date for Bivol to have enough time to travel, acclimate, and make weight, Bivol's side says. Wow. This is an extremely bad look. As I mentioned earlier, the walls are closing in on Canelo. Now, I don't think there's anyone that really doubts that Canelo is a great fighter, has skills, has seemingly improved since the Mayweather fight, but it's now getting ridiculous. This is the 2nd division where he stated to the fans ahead of time he wants legacy and he wants to be undisputed. He did it at 160. He was 1 belt away, and there was a guy on his side of the fence with DAZN at the time he was signed to DAZN before he sued, which we'll get to, and that was Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. If he didn't fight him, he would have to fight his mandatory Jamal Charlo, most likely. He didn't fight either, and he decided to move up to 175, which poses some questions now that we're seeing this, and I'm going to put it all together for the fans because I know some people are still confused. They're like, oh, Ego, get to the point. So he fought Kovalev. I don't think either guy looked particularly well. I think Canelo looked a lot more sluggish and slower than he normally looks. And it didn't look like 175 straight away was his best division. He was having a lot of problems with Kovalev's jab, and Kovalev looked like he was almost holding back. So I don't know if it was the quick turnaround. I don't know if Canelo clawed him to death with like rehydration claws or a combination of all these things. I don't know. But that fight looked FAF. It didn't look authentic. And out of nowhere, Canelo hits Kovalev from around the guard, and then Kovalev staggers back like this, and then Canelo just says boom, and then the fight's over. And it just looked extremely weird. If you haven't seen it, please just go and watch the whole fight from start to finish, right? And then that's where we're kind of at with it. That's where we're at with it. Canelo Alvarez. So there's many questions here. Dmitry Bivol is a champion at 175, and this is why the walls are closing in for the Canelo fans. Why would he be fighting Bivol at a catch weight of 168 to 175. Now, for the record, because I'm great at what I do, I am well educated, I do my research, and I don't just jump into conversations unless I know what's going on. So, for the record, full disclosure, I do know that Dmitry Bivol said he would fight at 168. But did he say he'll fight at 168 on late terms notice with 44 days to try to cut down in weight? Probably not, and that's why his team is saying, hey, we need time to travel and make weight and things like that. So to me, that's cheesy. It's chintzy to try to get a champion at 175 and hold him to something he said probably years ago or a year ago, whatever, and give him little time to prepare on top of that, because it's like, damn, how many advantages you need? I would just rather not see the fight. So I'm really not feeling the catch weight in this scenario. Another reason this doesn't really make sense to me is because you've already been to that territory and you were a champion and you just vacated your belt. So you beat Kovalev and became a champion. So you've already tested the waters and you know how it feels. And your team said Kovalev was the best person out there. So it's slowly but surely all crumbling for Canelo Alvarez. I can assure you that.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ka Theater here at the MGM.
Boom. Canelo Alvarez reasoning on fighting Sergey Kovalev. I've highlighted it on the screen. He's the best in the division. You see? So Canelo's team, as I've showed you, this DAZN, he's been fighting on DAZN, article on DAZN, you see that, right? Canelo's reasoning on fighting Kovalev, he's the best in the division. April 6th, 2020, right? As the face of boxing, Canelo can have his pick of the litter who he wants to fight, right? He claimed, it says, look, when it came down to it, Alvarez wanted to battle only one guy. This is too easy for me. Y'all got to give me some better work. This is too easy. It says, when it came down to it, Canelo only wanted to battle one guy, and the one guy is the person he'll take on Saturday night from the MGM Grand Garden in Las Vegas, Sergey Kovalev. Why did Alvarez choose his 3-time 175-pound title holder instead of Golovkin or other light heavyweights like WBA titleist Dmitry Bivol or unified champion Artur Beterbiev? Canelo says right there, and I'm showing you, he says it is because Dmitry or whatever, Kovalev is the best in his division. He said at the final press conference, he's one of the best. That's why we chose him to make history by fighting one of the best. Right? So, your own words, you stated that Kovalev was the best. Now, I disagreed when he said this, and I made videos, and the videos are still on my channel to prove that. I told you that Kovalev, at the point in which Canelo was fighting him, it was an advanced cherry pick. And you've seen how the fight played out. Soon as Kovalev got hurt, he was out of there, right? So, and it looked FAF throughout the fight. So, need I say more? Canelo told you Kovalev at that point was the best. Now, no doubt Kovalev had a great career and he had some great wins and stuff, but clearly it wasn't the Kovalev that fought Andre Ward the first time. You know what I mean? He had been through the ringer with Andre Ward. Andre Ward, I think, took his soul. Andre Ward beat him and then beat him even worse, and he had no excuse for losing the second one. Then after getting knocked out by Andre Ward, he gets knocked out and dropped a gang of times versus Eleider Alvarez, who lost to Joe Smith Jr. after that, after Kovalev did beat him in the rematch, right? And this is who Canelo is saying is the best at 175. But then you have a title holder in Bivol, your own words, you've already knocked out the best of the best, Kovalev, with 2 punches. I told you guys that looked fake. Y'all said no, it was perfect. Nothing went wrong. Canelo's just God tier strength or whatever. So why on earth would you need to fight Bivol at a catchweight between 168, 175? And on top of that, you only have 44 days until your actual fight. So he has minimal time to prepare, and he has to cut weight where he's not even a champion. So at a catchweight, he's not a champion at these made up weight classes. Canelo continues to do the same thing. So, at the end of the day, DAZN is willing to pay for it at the moment, but I think what they're doing is a huge bust. They're overpaying Canelo. He's a great fighter, but they're overpaying there's not enough ROI, return on investment. Canelo's golfing. He's showing up to the weigh-ins with pajamas, and he's not really promoting. He's not like a showman type of promoter. And he's fighting a bunch of European and Turkish fighters. And now he wants to fight another Russian, but it's going to be at a catchweight. And so far, most of his fights have been taking place in America. So I don't really know how long this gimmick can last with Canelo fighting everyone but the people that fans really want to see him fight. The David Benavidez, the Jamal Charlos, the Demetrius Andres, Caleb Plant. And I mean, he's dancing on boats and stuff. That's cool, but he's really just burning through DAZN's pocketbooks, and it's really not worth it. And I got videos coming where we'll talk about the finances, but his fight with Billy Joe Saunders, he's trending down. For as many people as they had, the live gate was better with less people when he fought Chavez Jr. They sold allegedly 70,000 tickets and didn't do a $10 million live gate. Conor McGregor just had a fight in Vegas with far less people than 70,000 in Texas, and his live gate with Dustin Poirier 3 was bigger than Canelo's. So I'm showing you the proof. They keep saying Canelo's the face of boxing, but in combat sports, he's not doing the biggest events or even fights that are desired. And then on top of that, there's clauses and short camps. But you see UFC 264 pay-per-view sales. McGregor Poirier 3 secures over $16 million live gate, right? It reportedly, UFC 264 reportedly sold 1.8 million. Conor McGregor with the UFC is selling 1.8 million pay-per-views at a higher price point than DAZN. And his gate is over 16 million for a trilogy with Poirier. You sold Canelo sold 70,000, right? 70,000 tickets with Billy Joe Saunders, and it didn't do 10 million. And you're overpaying him and Saunders. Look, boom. Canelo Saunders generates $9 million basically. I mean, you can't make this make sense. So eventually, DAZN's going to see these numbers and see, like, you don't have Floyd Mayweather. You don't have Floyd Mayweather just fought. So if we don't have to just talk about UFC. We ain't done enough, right? Floyd Mayweather just fought Logan Paul on Showtime, charged more money, and that was an exhibition, mind you, right? And he did over 1 million pay-per-view buys with Logan Paul, knowing how to pick the right dance partners and being the brand and name that he has, right? Having the brand that he has. Look, reports, Mayweather Logan Paul hits over 1 million. It generated over 50 million. Look, it exceeds 1 million. So Canelo, look, this was $50, which is again more than DAZN. It was an exhibition fight, and he's selling over 1 million. Canelo is not doing over 1 million, commanding all this money, and then his B-side opponent is getting $5 to $12 million roughly on average. It's financially, it can't work. And then now you want to fight Bivol, and then there's another stipulation. Good luck.